So this is Louis, and we're going to talk about extra credits. Woo! Hooray! So this was the video that I had people recommend that I cover. I hit up Mueller to talk about it today, and that fell through, so that's unfortunate. I wanted to talk with him and his gang on his podcast about this particular video and channel because it's easy. You know, I was going to market myself on his podcast, and I basically could predict the entire video without even watching it. Because I talked about this in an earlier video, which I rewatched, which isn't my best commentary, but it's pretty much the position I'm going to take this time around as well. I did this in 2017. It's called Soft Totalitarian Propaganda. And that is, in essence, what extra credits is. And it has always been that way. So I had somebody else on Discord recommend this other video called Propaganda Games from 2012. Yo, this channel has not changed. The people running this channel have always been disingenuous, progressive dickheads. And for the life of me, I don't understand what anyone sees in this guy, in this team, in this channel. They make 10 grand a month doing this trash. And I know that maybe still, I did back in 2017, maybe still people follow my channel and follow this channel. You know, it's up to you what you do with your money and time, but Jesus Christ, like, extra credits is, in essence, just the same video over and over again in relation to them talking about games. They do other things, that's fine, I'm not watching those videos. But in relation to games, this is their formula, okay? Love is great. Diversity is our strength. People are inherently good. Give me control over you. The world is a good place. I love you. Give me control over you. This person that I spoke to, they gave me an anecdote about how they got along, how they achieved, how they had hope and optimism. Give me control over you. That is every one of these fucking videos. Don't believe me? Go watch this video from 2012. Don't believe me? Go watch my old video. Don't believe me? Let's watch this fucking video together. I already know what it's going to be. It's why I don't cover this. I even said it then in 2017. Dude, people send me these videos all the fucking time. And I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I don't take this seriously because it's just that. Like, I just laid out the formula. Every fucking video is truism, platitude, let me control you. Truism, optimistic platitude, let me control you. Every fucking video is that. What am I going to say in this? You know, I was sitting earlier as I was eating dinner, and I was thinking to myself, like, what am I even going to say here? Like, I'm going to sit here, and I'm drinking a Corona. People say, fuck Mexican beer. Fuck you, SA. I know how to speak Spanish. I had people saying, man, Louis, you sound like you're speaking French. Fuck you, SA. Fuck you, homie. I know Spanish. So I'm going to sit here and drink this Corona. And we're going to watch this shitty video from extra credits. The thing is, though, you know, if somebody were to really hit me hard, and someone did in 2017, I remember somebody said this, the reason extra credits is popular is because they just consistently put out content, and it doesn't matter how bad it is. That the key to success on YouTube is merely consistency, and that's it. And I believe that's true, and I think that's my biggest downfall, is A, I don't show my face, B, I'm not consistent in my uploads. And those two things really harm me. Consistency especially, I think. I've had people criticize me for that, and it's true. And I really do think that, you know, maybe if I just put out crap every fucking day, maybe then I'd have 2 million subs like extra credits and make $11,000 a month to follow a formula where I say just platitudes in between passive-aggressive demands for me to have control over you and what you do and what you consume and what you think. Okay, which fucking video is it? I'm looking on their page. Is it this Stop Normalizing Nazis, Socially Conscious Game Design? Oh, man. I don't know at all what this is gonna be. Oh, God. Bruh, I'm done. Fucking hang it up. Louis Le Vau, dead, 2019. There's no way I'm going to be able to practically say that every fucking thing they say is either a platitude or is wrong. There's just no way, bro. I'm done. I'm sorry. You know, this is it. And click off the video. Stop supporting me on Subscribestar. It's over. I'm fucking done. I'm throwing in the towel.
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is.
So the question that I have is, define Nazi. Do you mean literally you're a Nazi from whatever the fuck? 70, 80? How many decades ago was the Second World War? How many decades do we have to go to actually find the Nazi party in Germany? Which, by the way, it's like, oh man, Nazism in America. It's like, yeah, that's a foreign ideology. I mean, you're just making the case for the Native American Party. And hey, in this day and age, maybe I'll be in favor of that. We need to restart the fucking Native American Party.
My father gave his life making this country what it is. Murdered by the British with all of his men on the 25th of July, Anno Domini 1814. You think I'm gonna help you befoul his legacy? By giving this country over to them what's had no hand in the fighting for it? Why, because they come off a boat crawling with lice and begging you for soup?
Get out the foreign influences in this country, because I'll tell you what, in this country, socialism and fascism, but more importantly, collectivism, is foreign to this country. The only problem is that the person that made this video, they probably have to go too. But I'm fine with that.
And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier. This is bad on so many levels. No one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the Nazis. And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
You've already ruined the immersion, so it's already, not immersive, because you could play as black females and the rest of it. I would absolutely support a game where you could play an accurate Nazi. And also the issue that you have, compare this to a racist, where a racist says all black people are like this, or all Mexicans are like that. You are saying this about Germans at the time, many of whom served out of national loyalty. Few of who actually served just out of pure party, loyalty. Not every German was a member of the Nazi Party. It's the reason why the country became totalitarian. If every German agreed and they were all Nazis, then what would be the point of all the things that were done by Goebbels and every member of Hitler's cabinet? What would be the point of any of the propaganda films and all the rest? And, the black shirts, or the brown shirts, rather, marching around. Black shirts was Mussolini's Italy. What would be the point of totalitarian tactics if everyone fucking agreed? So you are, in fact, painting the Germans with a brush that is, in fact, based on your own bigotry. That's the ironic thing about progressives, is that you think in the same way the Nazis did, because you're both totalitarians, which is what I've been saying about progressives for the past 5 years. And in those 5 years, it has not ceased to be a salient point to bring up, because you're literally pointing at the mirror. It's the Antifa pointing in the mirror when he's, saying you're a Nazi. It's a political cartoon, yes, but the point is that you are the totalitarian that you're allegedly raging against. A lot of us that are normal, we're not.
And before anyone equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis, if they were wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
Oh my God. No, that is not true. That is your own presupposition. It's been years, and my points are exactly the fucking same. Why does anyone watch this shit?
In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life? Yeah, that's a big old nope.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be compelled. They could be compelled by their duty as a German to fight for their nation. Just because you don't vote in the administration doesn't mean you don't fight for your country. There's a separation between you're a member of the party and you're a German. Germans returned home to fight for Germany. They weren't necessarily Nazis. There's the obvious fear that they might be, and in the United States we had that with the Japanese and the assumption that they were fifth columnists. Right now we're dealing with the fact that in the United States we have Chinese people flooding into this country, and oftentimes a lot of them are fucking spies, and in essence fifth columnists, and there's more than just us that are dealing with that. So it's not an irrational fear to have for there to be fifth columnists, but the fact remains that just because you are Chinese doesn't mean you're a spy or a fifth columnist or loyal to the Communist Chinese Party. If you aren't willing to call every Chinese person in the United States a fifth columnist, if you're not prepared to do that, then why are you calling every German that?
Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups, who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis, no one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent without actually opting into it in your game.
You don't even have the balls to actually put the swastika in your video. That's what I love about all of these fucking people, is while you're condemning these people, you don't actually show them for what they are. You can't accurately portray who the Nazis were, what happened in that era. You can't actually show the history. You can't actually portray them for what they were. You just have to basically, in a nebulous, vague sense, just say, oh, they're bad. Oh, they're bad. Ooh, they're so bad. Ooh, they're so icky. They're so gross. Ooh, they're so bad. Like, you just don't actually confront what they were. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that you're both totalitarian collectivists.
And by making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it, to stop thinking of the meaning behind these things. We normalize them. We make them just window dressing for entertainment. Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that no longer inherently revolt us.
Okay, stop. Don't fucking use the German Iron Cross to label these guys as Nazis. You can't actually portray what the Nazis were. You're using, the helmet doesn't make a Nazi. The Iron Cross doesn't make a Nazi. You are inaccurately portraying all German soldiers in the history of Germany as Nazis.
Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies.
You fucking do that, you stupid faggot! You're the one who's censoring them! We need to portray them as the evilest men on the face of this earth, which also makes them alluring, by the way. But no, let's portray them as evil. By the way, we're also going to censor them. You fucking people are retarded. I'm just so glad that because of you, the Democratic Party is in the midst of a civil war that is going to rip it apart.
Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? No. But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy. It makes scrawling a swastika on something change from unthinkable to just dangerous. It means you might not take iron crosses all over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave, and if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there. It seems like such a small and simple thing, but it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrifice so much to fight. By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends. By the 1000th time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them.
Yes, your video, bro, has convinced me. Oh my god, we need to start censoring games, because if you play a terrorist, apparently the terrorists do win. This is so bad. This is such a shit video, but it really is no different to any of the other videos they do. That's the beauty of this, is that unfortunately for a lot of people, they think that this is like a one-off, when no, this is actually just most of their content.
Neither of which helps the global crisis we have that takes thousands of lives every year. So what do? That's easy. Don't make them morally equivalent. Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your Nazis and your allies.
Yet again, you're the same person. You're the same people calling for censorship in video games. It's what you're doing in this video as well. The reason fucking why they won't accurately portray the fucking Nazis is because of people like you. You're the ones who are politically correct, demanding these changes be made. You're the ones that are fucking going to the fucking censorship boards, and the ones calling for censorship, and the ones comfortable with censorship. How do you expect to actually square that circle of, no, put the swastikas back in these games, when you're the same people saying, no, take the swastikas out of these games? It certainly isn't my fucking side that's saying that censorship is acceptable. It's yours. So go argue this out with your own goddamn people. But the thing is that you're apparently a white male. I mean, you might be a faggot. You sound beta enough to be one. You have to hash this out with your own side. You don't address that at all, by the way. Are you going to address that at any point? The fact that your side is the side that actively calls for censorship? You're showing them as morally equal, blah, 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 blah. You're not actually portraying them in this particular way. You're not showing them as evil. You're the side that said to do this in the fucking first place. You demanded this.
And if you're going to say, but we need it for historical reasons, then your game better actually be historical. You can't really just hide behind the fact you called your desert map El Alamein and say, but it's historical. If that were the case, you need your PvP to at least represent real historical events and be a realistic take on those battles. Once you make both sides balanced, it's also no longer historical. And you can't really say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy. Oh, and once you let players get cool weapons that weren't actually at that particular battleground, it's also no longer historically accurate. And you can't declare that your game will suffer if you don't put players in the jackboots of the Third Reich.
Dude! 2 million subscribers. 2 million fucking subscribers. I'm not even gonna fucking bother editing it. I'm not even going to bother. You know, go back a couple minutes, listen to him complain. You're not portraying them, but also you're the one putting them in the jackboots. Can't go a paragraph without fucking contradicting yourself. I am thankful that this is not the way that I think. Could you imagine thinking like this? Where your mind is like a fucking a dryer with a goddamn cinder block thrown in it? Where that's your mind constantly like flying around, dealing with the constant contradictions of your own belief set? Jesus Christ.
And once your map is something carefully designed to have good gameplay by a team in a room in San Francisco or LA, and it's not a faithful reconstruction of the actual places the historical events occurred in, you can no longer say we need to have players take up arms in service of terror or hate.
Is it Hamas? Is it Hezbollah? Like, who gets to define who the terrorists are? Because I imagine that you're not on the same side of, you know, go Israel, go, bomb those sand niggers out of your territory. I would assume that you're on the side of, oh man, the Gaza terrorists didn't do nothing, bro, and those damn Zionists. I imagine that is your belief, because if you are a progressive, and I do believe you are, that is incredibly mainstream among progressives, is to say that Israel is in fact the terrorist state. America is in fact the terrorist state. And, you know, the Arab terrorists overseas, the Muslims, they didn't do nothing, bro. Who gets to define who the terrorists are? I imagine it's you. So with the issue of portraying people in the game, does that mean we can now do the Israeli Defense Force? We can show them as the heroes in a game. We can make Mossad the heroes. We can make, what's the CIA, the American government. What's another group that you guys hate? The Polish Defense Force, or Hungary. Their military. We can make them the heroes because they're a recognized group. They're not actually a terrorist group. We can make those groups the heroes. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that this is just going to be like all the other contradictions going on in your mind. It's just a matter of, well, it's fine when I do it, and it's fine when it's us, but it's not when it's you or this other group that I don't like. Who gets to define who the heroes are? Who gets to define who the villains are? Who gets to define the good guys? And who gets to define the terrorists? You. That's what I said in my previous video, and I guess I'll edit that in right now.
Private competition can just as easily devolve into toxicity and counterproductive antagonism. If we want to use this incredible tool to its utmost...
We. No, who? You. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Go make a fucking game. Make the game, and then do that. But you don't do that. You make these videos. That's the you. So there is no we. Fuck off. God.
If we want to use this incredible tool to its utmost, we have got to be more vigilant against this. As an industry, we have got to more carefully curate the spaces we create.
There is no we. You see, we, it's just you. It's all about you. This is all about what you want. It's not about anything else other than give me control, like I began this video with.
About terrorism. We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play as a Nazi or a terrorist. But what we are saying the fact that you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist in a game has to mean something. And it can't just be a skin. It can't be something that a game randomly drops you into. And really, if we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better. It's not even
give me control! Give me control! Give me control!
Is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world.
You're not even in the fucking industry, bro. I am so sick of this. I am so sick of these fucking people. I hate this goddamn channel. You people aren't in the fucking industry. What are you working on? What are you doing? What the fuck are you creating? What is actually your role in this industry other than continuing the downfall of it? EA is honestly one of the most progressive corporations in the industry. It constantly virtue signals in their games. They constantly do everything in their power to virtue signal in their games, to the point where even somebody like Angry Joe is willing to call them out. That is how far they go in virtue signaling in their games for the sake of appeasing progressives. And yet, they are the most hated company in the industry. They are hated nearly universally. It's just amazing to me that, you know, the greatest examples within the industry for doing what you want them to do are also some of the most hated companies in the industry. Excluding the ones that go bankrupt in the process, by the way. The actually financially successful ones are almost universally hated, or at least loathed, by most consumers. Those are your companies, by the way. They're the ones listening to you. They're the ones hiring Anita to come in and you know, consult them on their development. Those are the companies that you own, that are your companies. And they are loathed by nearly everyone. And the most celebrated company right now, the most celebrated company in the industry, period, that I'm aware of, and you can speak to this in the comment section whether I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying this from my own viewpoint of what I've seen. The company that everyone is currently sucking the dick of, and I'm fine with that, is CD Projekt Red. And where's that based out of? What language are they speaking at that studio? You know what I mean? Is it the Bay Area, San Francisco? Is it Edmonton? Where is the studio? Toronto? New York? Where is CD Projekt Red? And what is that country like? What is that culture like? And by the way, I follow people online that basically tweet out Polish politics every once in a while. Whoa, boy! They are not far away from Hungary at the moment in terms of their politics there. And I love the shit out of it. I love it to death. The fact that in one of the most conservative countries in the Western world, that is the home base of one of the most beloved studios in gaming, if not currently the most beloved studio. And also, by the way, say what you want to say about some of their practices and the fact that, they fired their community manager for an innocuous tweet. There is some legitimate criticism that I can make towards CD Projekt Red. But what's amazing is that all the bad business practices that all these other companies engage in, they do none of those things. The most viciously exploitative companies in the industry, all of them, by the way, the most vicious ones in terms of exploiting consumers, they're also the most progressive. Look at the companies that virtue signal incessantly. They are the most exploitative towards the consumer.
Games can do better. And in this particular case, it's not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better. All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us and what these symbols we're drawing on mean.
By the way, you fucking ignoramus, the swastika doesn't just mean Nazi Germany. Like, it has its roots in Buddhism. It has a lot different meaning overseas in Asia than it does here in America. Not that you give a shit because you're a progressive and you want the entire world to reflect your worldview. I've been saying this for 5 years. It's just a fact of the matter. Progressives want everyone thinking as they do. They want the entire goddamn world to reflect the Bay Area. They want every city, every town, every village to reflect the shitholes that they inhabit. The degenerate wastelands that they live in. That have no future, by the way.
That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole.
Fuck the world! I really don't know how else to say it. But fuck the world. The world owes you nothing. And I don't understand, other than you are a totalitarian, that's pretty much the explanation for it, why you expect anything from the world. I expect virtually nothing from the world. There's countries in the world that still engage in sexual slavery involving children, that still engage in slavery in terms of labor. There are nations in this world that are so regressive, that are so terrible, that it would be unimaginable that in my lifetime that they would change substantially. They're so backward. It would be a miracle for them to change to reflect the first world, specifically America. It would be amazing to see those countries evolve compared to where they are currently, within my lifetime. Why is it that you demand them to change? Why? Just give me the explanation outside of, I hold the one true belief of progressivism. There is no moral concept beyond that of, race-oriented fucking socialism. These people feel contrary. They want to stay in their third world shitholes across the world. Why isn't that their right? Why must you foist your ideology on them? And if you want to speak to the idea that the rest of the world is somehow greater than the West, even with all of our problems, it's not true. Most of this world is awful. Most of this world is backwards. And every day of the week you can find an endless series of news stories talking about that fact. That most of the rest of the world is fucking backwards. And in many cases, especially the Middle East, Asia, that region of the world, just collectivist shitholes. The worst of the worst, where you have no individual rights. Every day of the week, for the rest of my life, I'd rather live in this country, America specifically, compared to just about anywhere else in this world. I know that people like to say that there's many nice nations elsewhere in the world than the West, specifically, but I have a hard time believing that. There's nice environments around me. It's very green and nice and beautiful around me. I can see a sunset in the United States and not have to overlook the roving gangs of child abductees for the point of sexual slavery and corrupt cops and all the rest of the shit that the rest of the world has to offer. So yeah, fuck the world. The world owes us nothing, and we owe the world nothing.
If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry. We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
Whatever this beardo's name is, yo, Telltale is on the cutting edge, man. They're gonna do it. They're gonna be the company that brings gaming to the whole new level. They're focusing on narrative. They're hella progressive. You know, oh, man. If not them, Don't Nod. Don't Nod's the one, baby. They're gonna do it. These limp dick fucking frogs, they're gonna be the ones that push this, the whole industry to the next level, baby. Woo! And they're not a living meme, by the way. That's factually untrue. Don't laugh, bigots. Don't Nod is a great company, and if you don't believe so, you need to get out of gaming. You're probably a bigot. You need to go live in Poland with the rest of those racist Polacks voting for their right-wing governments. You know what I'm going to do really quick before I end this video is I'm going to do a juxtaposition. I'm going to put the last video game that Telltale published before they failed, which wasn't necessarily a terrible game. I played it. I beat it. They had to have a whole other team finish it, by the way. They weren't even able to finish the last season of The Walking Dead. They collapsed as a company before they could finish it.
It's time for another good idea, bad idea. Bad idea.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. AJ, come on. Row, 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 row your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. Don't forget to scream. Come on, you love this one.
It's a bad song. You shouldn't scream. Ever. Screaming brings monsters.
Yeah, you're right, kiddo. This song was written before, when kids didn't have to worry about monsters.
I don't remember a time without monsters.
I know. What's the first rule?
Never go alone.
Never go alone, right. And what do we do when the monsters come?
We shoot them in the head.
And what else?
Always save the last bullet for yourself.
Now, what do you do if I get bit?
It was a snooze fest. It was boring as fuck. Like the rest of the seasons other than one were. I'm going to take that and I'm going to juxtaposition this.
Good idea.
V, my man, you made it. You blowing up all over the news. Are you alone?
I just want the money.
You got the chip? All right, start her up, Bug. Why don't you go to the bathroom, wash up, we gonna be with you in a minute.
What?
Oh, come on, man. Your neck, it's a mess.
While hotel security has yet to comment, we do know the suspect seems to have fled the scene.
Initiating combat mode.
Go!
Destination confirmed.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Alright, in and out, bitches! We're rich! Oh, we are going to the major leagues, Jackie! Jack?
Oh, shit! No. Okay, get to a clinic, now!
Mr. Wells' condition is critical.
Go!
Immediate medical help is
okay.
required.
Just hold on, Hey, just think about all the good shit we're gonna have, huh?
I'm sorry. Take the fucking chip decks.
Every corporal cop in this city's gonna be blasting down these doors after what you and your psycho friend did. We didn't need all this cocksucking attention, damn it.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
See that difference? See that distinction? See the difference in quality? And the idea behind it actually not just being a lecturing narrative that you're unable to finish because your company freaking collapses in the process. One of them is, according to the journos, vying to dethrone Grand Theft Auto 5, and what you're calling for is kaput. It's done. It's been tried. It's failed. If it isn't that, if it's the EA model, well, they're already doing what you demand of them. They're already doing what you want. And yet you're still here complaining, contradicting yourself every other sentence. Because like I said, your mind is the equivalent of a dryer that someone is throwing a cinder block into. It's a mess, a litany of contradicting ideas and ideals just bouncing around that will never come to an end. They will always be contradicting one another and bouncing around until the point that you either just walk away from this ideology, which I swear to God, I don't know who anyone has at this point. Has anyone deconverted from progressivism? Or you just, put a gun to your head and blow your fucking brains out. I know that's harsh to say, but the reason I'm saying it is for the purposes of just not understanding how one can live with mutually exclusive ideas and ideals going on seamlessly at once. Where, like I said, just a sentence difference in terms of the contradicting ideas. And it's just clear as day for everyone to see. It's amazing. It truly is. It's like, wow, like I can't imagine living like that. Where I'm just contradicting myself all the time. And what I can't stand about this is, and this is what you see with progressives, and the same kind of cult mentality where you distance yourselves away from anyone that can actually contradict what you believe and naysay about what you believe. You don't have anyone around you that can walk you through the idea of, like, you're calling for censorship while at the same time the games are being censored at your request, and then you're complaining that Nazis or whatever you're complaining about isn't being portrayed accurately based on your own calls for censorship. It's just crazy to me that no one stops this guy and says, listen, Do you realize you're contradicting yourself? Do you understand that you literally defeat your own argument within the same paragraph? I'm not having to say fucking anything in this. I'm just sitting back, you know, reacting to you contradicting yourself and you using your own argument against your own argument. It's fucking ridiculous. You're like a parody. But I will simply leave it there. This is probably a worse video than many of you would have liked. And I apologize for that, but this is the fucking content that I'm working with here. This is why I don't cover this channel. You have to give me something that is worth covering. This is shit, and it has always been shit. Go watch my previous video from 2 years ago regarding these people. They're garbage. They are insane. They are off the progressive deep end. They have jumped off the ledge. They are gone. Just don't watch them. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening.
Show no respect, but I know for a sec nobody gon' diss me. Pop that tech, you probably gon' miss me. Fucking live it, cause I fucking live it. Y'all fucking with it, cause y'all get it. No fucking gimmick, bitches. I smell the deceit in your speech. When it leaks through your teeth, you better reap what you sow.